Sliwa is here with the Senior Pickleball Report, powered by TNC Network. Let's get it going. Today we talk with Champions Tour Pro Chris Karges. He is a member of the Austin Ignite of newly formed National Pickleball League, which continues play this summer at Chicken and Pickles across the country. She's a University of Kentucky grad, Hall of Famer, I believe, in tennis, teaching pro tennis. Obviously, she teaches pickleball and plays and tours professionally. But first, if you like this content, consider subscribing to the channel. We can really use your subscription. Hit that notification bell. Check out our socials. Check out all the links in the description for discounts on shoes and paddles. Hey, and we have a newsletter as well. You may want to subscribe to that to get your fix on everything pickleball. All right, let's get to that conversation with Chris. Welcome to the Senior Pickleball Report from the Austin Ignite of the newly formed National Pickleball League. Chris Karges, good to see you.
Great to be on. Great to see you. Great to meet you.
Right on. So let's talk, we start with everybody, their pickleball journey, because as we know, this sport has been around for over 50 years, but it has done something that's really sort of bizarro in the last 3 to 4 years, and it has just exploded into sort of the psyche of the American culture and now kind of starting to spread into the global culture. How did you sort of get involved in the silly wiffle ball game that we all take so seriously?
Well, I coming from a tennis background, so I played tennis growing up and then played at University of Kentucky and then played a little bit on the tour and just got into coaching tennis in two colleges at Purdue and Northwestern University.
Big Ten.
And the Big Ten.
I'm a Wisconsin guy. That's why I say that. So
played the SEC. So, and then my next journey was, I loved the teaching and coaching part of college tennis, but I wanted to teach a little bit more. So an opportunity came up in Knoxville to coach at a country club. So I've been the pickleball and tennis director there, started there in 2007. And all of a sudden a member comes up to me, and I was just doing tennis at this time, and says, hey, Chris, can you bring pickleball to my club? And I'm like, okay, well, I don't even know what it is, but I can try. So we were just a tennis club, and I had not heard of pickleball. And this was about 2017.
Okay.
And so I reached out to people in the area and found an ambassador and said, hey, can you come over and come to my club, do a demonstration for my members, and I'll help as much as I can. And so we just taped lines on an indoor court, had some members come out, and it was successful. And next thing I know, the gentleman was like, hey, do you want to play? And I'm like, sure. And next thing I know, like a month later, I'm playing in a tournament. So I got hooked pretty quickly. So that's how it started for me. Just a member of my country club, was living in a retirement community and kind of talked to me about the sport. And I loved it right from the beginning. So that's how I got started in pickleball. And unfortunately that year I had breast cancer right when I kind of got into pickleball. So, had to recover from that. And so I really started in about 2018, teaching and playing. So
I mean, 2018, when, it doesn't seem that long ago, but when you talk in pickleball years, when you tell somebody you've been playing since 2018, they're like, oh my God, you've been playing forever.
Exactly.
Because most of us are obviously the COVID converts is what I call us. We started playing during COVID. Talk a little bit about, it's really good to hear you say that a member came up to you and started talking about, adding pickleball to your teaching and to the club. For somebody that played really, really high level tennis and obviously coached high level tennis as well, there didn't seem to be, at least initially what you've told me, any sort of resistance to that, as where I would think somebody else might go kind of, poo-poo on that little wiffle ball sport. So what made it so appealing to you to are you just a person that likes to try new things?
Absolutely. I had not heard of it, but she said she loved it, enjoyed it. And, at this retirement community, it was exploding. And so I thought, why not add something else to our club?
Right.
And, once I saw what it was all about, I thought, this is really interesting. And it was just a lot of fun. And I saw that, we could reach almost every member, age.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Through older. So I thought it would be, a great thing for our club to try that.
Yeah, absolutely. So talk about your personal transition to pickleball, because obviously some have more challenges than others. I mean, obviously you had a fantastic racket sport background, but it's a different game, obviously, for many facets in the kitchen and the ball bouncing, the height of the ball. So what was the biggest challenge for you as far as transitioning from high level tennis to becoming eventually a very high level professional pickleball player?
Well, I think if you talk to like a couple of the guys that I started with, they come back at me now and say, Chris, you were a complete banger. You played tennis on the pickleball court. So I didn't know any better. And now I kind of play the opposite, more of a finesse game, drop, reset, that sort of thing. So just learning the idiosyncrasies of strategy. And I guess coming from coaching, that's what I love about it. I love to analyze and play a strategic game. Yeah. So that was just understanding, how to play pickleball was the hardest thing for me versus just playing tennis on the pickleball court.
Right. Did you play a fair amount of high level doubles as a tennis player?
I did. I played a lot of doubles, and just growing up as a kid, played a lot with men, men's doubles. So my reaction time was pretty good, and reflexes and that sort of thing. So it really translated into playing pickleball. Right.
Okay. So now I'm assuming, at least for me, and I don't want to speak for you, but let's say you start playing this game really on a serious level and taking it to in part of your practice daily in 2018, to the point 5 years later, there's a professional league, team league, that is for people who are 50 plus. In your wildest imagination, did you ever think you'd be somebody that's being drafted by a pro team to play pickleball?
Never. But what a great, new opportunity for us senior pros, and the first week was a smashing success. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, just watching that, all the streaming that was going on. I think that's what impressed me the most, because I watch an unhealthy amount of pickleball, whether it's, Champions Tour stuff, or whether it's just open pro, or if it's just rec play that somebody puts on. But to see that, you could tell that it was really organized well, just sitting at home, because there's like 8 live streams. You could pick all these different players you wanted to watch. The matches were boom, 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 boom. There was no delays and 8 hours of commercials running in a live stream. So talk about what you've seen coming into this league, as far as how it's been put together, and what you think about that.
Well, I think Rick, Beth, Michael, and Julie have really paid attention to the details. And that was evident right when we walked into the Chicken and Pickle. So they, like you said, every court was live streamed, so we could tell our family, friends back at home, clients, hey, we'll be on at this time, and they can look for it, which was a real positive. And it just started off with a great welcoming party the first night, and got everybody together, and from the goodie bag all the way to the food throughout the whole weekend, we were treated first class. And I think it was evident by everyone was very happy that played it. So, but they really paid big attention to the players and the details. And made sure we felt good about being there.
Right. Absolutely. And it's one of those things. It's nice to see folks in our age group, or any age group, take kind of control of the matter, and really, like, this is how we want to play. This is how we want to be treated, and not counting on some tour or some other entity to do it for them. Because, a lot of you obviously have been playing racket sports for a long time before pickleball, and you've been in tournaments, and you've seen things that are run well and things that are not run so well. So I would imagine that just the collective knowledge base of not only the people who have founded this and running all the operations, but the players themselves bring so much experience to this, which is quite different than, the other major tours, because, you have people who may have never played in tournaments before sort of running things. And I think it's a great advantage that y'all have with the life experience you have, not only obviously in racket sports, but just the outside life experience you bring from some of the careers you had that may sort of, help and guide the product itself.
Absolutely. And I think for us players, this is one of the first times we were able to get back together and connect. Since, different things are happening with the different tours.
Right.
So it was almost like a homecoming for all the players. Everyone was, great attitudes, and we're just great to see everybody and catch up. And
Right.
so it had that great welcoming vibe, and hey, we're all back together. We're together again. The competition was a very high level.
Yeah. And I think that's what maybe a lot of people don't realize is I mean, my channel's, sort of its focus is on the senior play. And I follow a lot of the social media, and I've said this before in other interviews. There is fierce competition, but at the end of the day, it's a pretty solid community. If you look at, just people's social media platforms, they're going out to dinner afterwards, and they're having fun, and they're hanging out, and they're supporting each other. But, don't get me wrong, it is a very high level of skill and ball. Like I always tell people, go see something live. Because you will have a completely different experience of the talent level and the skill it takes to play this game at the level that y'all are playing it at. So if they could get to a chicken and pickle and get that close, you'll be surprised. Not only are they, because people are like, oh, they're 50 plus, but they have no idea. They really don't of what skill level that y'all are playing at. So. New paddle company, Pickle, PCKL, great paddle line, great price points. Anything you want from starter paddle to intermediate to a pro series high level paddle. Check them out. Get 15% off using my discount code. Pickle, it's the future.
Are you looking to stay up to date on the latest pickleball news and tips? Look no further than the Sleeve Senior Pickleball Report newsletter. Get the scoop on the sport, learn how to stay healthy while playing, and find out about upcoming tournaments. Subscribe now to get all the pickleball info you need.
You have other people to cheer for, like you mentioned, other people to coach. So talk about the start that your season had, and you in particular had. Talk a little bit about the team, and then what happened with you specifically.
We were fortunate enough in the first event to go 4-0.
Right.
And so we got off to a great start. We had all our players there. Some of the teams, again, through the 6 events, may or might not have every player available.
Right.
We did. We were fortunate enough, and we had some tight matches, close matches, but came out on top. So going into the next session, I think we're in first place.
Right.
Oklahoma, which is exciting. We have a great set of owners. We have 5 great owners that own Austin Ignite, and we had great support from them all weekend at the tournament. They were into it. They were running score stats, making sure everything was taken care of, really getting into it, helping with the lineups, et cetera, et cetera. So we had great support system from Austin Ignite and the owners at the event.
Right. So where do you see this going? Obviously, it's event 1. You learn a lot as players, as founders, as owners. Sure. I'm sure there'll be little tweaks here and there going to event 2. But let's look down the road a little bit, because obviously, they want to expand. They want to, make this more throughout the country. So where do you think this could look like in a couple of years? Because to have a start like y'all did with the live streaming, the organization, the goodie bags, everybody's wearing, obviously jerseys and the support. Yeah, it looks great. And so what else do you think they could do? Are there any ideas kind of floating around that you could share, or that you think might be kind of cool to see?
I mean, I think, they're talking about expanding to more teams next year. which would be great. And sponsorships, branding, team branding, and sponsorships.
Right.
But it's just getting a lot of people involved, ages 50 and plus. So I think the sky's the limit. I think the first week was a huge success.
Yeah.
So we'll see what the future holds.
Right.
We'll stay on board and support it, and sponsorship support it. I think it could go very far.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, important, obviously, to come out of the gate like that with a very solid first event, and hats off to everybody that was there and helping out. Let's talk about you individually this season. What have you played so far this year? Are you happy with it? And what are you looking forward to the rest of the season outside of NPL?
Well, the week before NPL, I had a great event in New York City at the APP. Was able to get gold with Sherry Corder, and then Rick Witzkin and I got silver. So that was a great event and practice leading up to the NPL. And then going through the rest of the season, I have a couple more APPs and then nationals and a couple PPAs.
Right.
So just try to stay active. But I think a lot of people are, very happy. There's 5 more events of the NPL, and they're trying to sprinkle in as many, tournaments during that time as they can.
Right. Absolutely. So, talk about physically how you handle the load, because, it's no joke, especially if let's say you go play a tournament and you're playing mixed and you're playing gender doubles. Sometimes people play singles as well. Do you have, when you look at your year, do you kind of lay things out and going, this is what I can handle physically, emotionally, mentally, and how do you take care of yourself?
Absolutely. I mean, I like playing, maybe 2 weeks in a row. I think that's a good start for me. Then maybe a week off and then back out there. I like to do a lot of stretching, massage, and just stay on top of my body, and stay strong. I think that's really important. The recovery, for people our age.
Right.
That's something they had at the Chicken and Pickle. They were great with trainers, massage therapists.
That's nice.
Taking care of everybody's body, making sure we were healthy. But I think that's, at our age, very important, the recovery. As much as, just staying strong. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a beginner play with us last week, and first time he really played pickleball, and the next day he could barely move.
Exactly.
It's like, there's a lot of lateral.
There's a lot to it.
There's a lot to that little court with hitting that wiffle ball. And he's like, everything hurts. I'm like, he goes, but it was so fun. So I said, it doesn't look like you're doing much sometimes if you're playing doubles, but you walk away and if you haven't used some of those muscles before, oh yeah.
Exactly. And then, over the course of, 2 or 3 day tournament, mentally it wears on you too, so just being able to maybe step away a couple days and regroup mentally. Cause it definitely does take a mental toll. They're long days.
Let's talk about that a little bit. How do you manage that? Because I don't think people realize that, some of these, even NPL, even if something's right on schedule, I mean, you're playing a lot of matches, there's a lot of downtime, and then boom, you're up, and you got to be prepared out of the gate, because as we all know, this is a very, very streaky game. Like you can be down, you can lose 11 zip like that. I don't care how good you are. So talk about maybe right when we finish up here, how you really kind of work your day, whether it's NPL or a tournament. And I get those two things may vary, but.
Well, I personally, I just like to make sure I'm warmed up really well, just getting out there with a partner and doing some drills, but also trying to play some points, because the game is definitely getting faster, more aggressive. So I like to make sure, before we start, I'm ready to go, almost having played a game before we walk out on the court. Just I'm nice and warm and ready to go physically and mentally. And then after, let's say we have a long 3-setter, just taking a little reset and then gauging warm up as the day progresses. For our 7th match, we might not. We might just hit a few balls. So just, I think everybody's different there. Some people like a long warm up. Some people, don't. So just gauge that with your partner.
Right. Yeah. I think what I've noticed, at least at the higher level, is people have an ability to move on very quickly from the point and from the game and from the match, whether it's, been successful for them or not. They don't seem to hang on to things. And this is a sport that moves so quickly, but it seems like the further levels that I move up, you can tell that people are really good with being unattached because they have to be, because that's over.
Yeah,
I've got another point, I got another game, I got another match and another tournament to play. So maybe talk a little bit about that, because obviously you can do really well. Let's say you have a singles day or a doubles day, and then you play mixed and you get crushed. That's just kind of how pickleball goes. Do you have some sort of philosophy about letting go of those things that maybe it just wasn't your day or your game?
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because it can be very streaky, and at the highest level on any given day, it's anyone's game, that to me, that comes, making sure you're ready mentally, making sure you're ready to go down there from point one. And the ability, if let's say we lost earlier in the day, to let that go and hopefully be ready to play that team again later that day. But I think
and that can happen.
As much mental as it is physical.
For sure.
And just communicating with your partner. I really like to talk strategy with my partner and communicate and make sure we're on the same page in terms of what our plan is going out to that match. Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, Chris, thanks for your time. Let's talk before we get you out of here. Anybody you want to give a shout out to, sponsors or anything like that, and give them a mention? Well, first of all, just Austin Ignite teammates and owners. We had an incredible first week, and they are awesome. It's a love fest over in Austin. And then Selkirk's been a great sponsor of mine, and Ear, Feet, Insoles are a couple great companies. So kudos to them. Yeah, right on. Hey, thanks, Chris, for your time. Best of luck in Kansas City. I'll probably be there for one of the sessions, so maybe we can catch up and meet you in person. And outside of MPL, best of luck, and hey, have a great nationals too. Thanks so much. This fall. All right. Hope you enjoyed our interview with Chris. Again, check out our newsletter, and hey, let's pickle. I'll see you next time. Hey, if you're looking for very, very comfortable court shoes, in fact, the most comfortable court shoes I've ever worn, and I've worn a lot of them over the years playing different sports, try Fitville. We have a link in the description that gets you $20 off your purchase.